Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to tell you all the reasons that the Washington Commanders are going to make the playoffs. But first, if you enjoy NFL content and want to see more of it every Monday and Friday, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Let's get into it. The Washington Red Football Commanders have been a long-suffering franchise ever since Daniel Snyder bought the team back in 1999. Since Snyder bought the team, they have made the playoffs just 6 times with only 2 playoff wins. Keep in mind that this was a franchise that has 3 Super Bowl titles, so the fan base expects to win. Well, I think things will be turning around soon for this team. Now slow down before you roast me in the comments. I'm not saying that they're going to win a Super Bowl in the near future. I am saying that they'll make the playoffs this year and are set up for sustained success. The main factors for this are the front office setup, young talent, Ron Rivera, Carson Wentz, and for this season specifically, their schedule. Let's start with the front office. If you're watching NFL videos on YouTube, then you likely already know about the crazy scandals that have been going on involving Dan Snyder and much of the former front office staff for the Washington Commanders. From sexual harassment allegations to fraudulent financial practices and really everything in between. This doesn't even discuss the football side of things, where the owner's favorite thing to do is pretend it's his fantasy football team and overpay for aging stars. Since the firing of Bruce Allen, it has felt like Dan Snyder, by his own volition or by force, has stepped back from football decision-making and has truly let Ron Rivera be the man in charge. They hired the Martins, both Hurney and Mayhew, to handle the personnel decisions, with Rivera's input, of course, and things are headed in the right direction. They have drafted some good pieces in recent years: Terry McLaurin, Chase Young, Cam Curl, Sam Cosmi, John Bates, and the jury is still out on some, mainly their first-round linebacker from last year, Jamin Davis. That brings me to their young core. Every player on the team, other than their punter, Tress Way, is 30 or younger. McLaurin is 26, Samuel is 25, Dotson is 22, Gibson is 23, and if Wentz proves to be the answer at quarterback, he's only 29. For a quarterback, that's just entering your prime. If they can sign these guys to good contracts, then this core can be together for a long time. Even if Wentz isn't the guy at quarterback, he's definitely the most talented quarterback they've had since Kirk Cousins. Moving on to the coach. Ron Rivera is widely known as a well-respected coach in the league. He gets his guys to play hard, and they love him. It's no secret that their defense was elite in 2020 and then dropped off last season. You can blame injury, Jack Del Rio, or the players, but I think it was a fluke, and the offense didn't do them any favors. Every defense looks better with an offense that stays on the field or gets a lead so the other team has to pass the entire time. I think Scott Turner is the right offensive coordinator for this team, and he has the most talented offense he's had since coming to Washington. Think about this. If Carson Wentz can exactly replicate his stats from last year with the Colts, that'll be 7 more touchdowns through the air and 8 fewer interceptions than Washington got from Heineke last year. They both rushed for 1 touchdown last season, so that's a wash. I think that's the baseline for what Wentz can do in Washington. According to Pro Football Focus, Washington had the number 6 ranked offensive line in the league last year, while Indy had the 12th ranked. And before you tell me that Brandon Sheriff left, he only played in 11 games last year, and Wes Schweitzer was graded higher than Sheriff last season. Plus, Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner both only graded 6 points lower than Sheriff, and one of them will be taking his spot. I think Wentz will thrive in Washington if he can stay healthy. The last reason that I'm confident the Commanders will be in the playoffs this year is the schedule. They're tied with the Cowboys for the lowest strength of schedule based on last year's records, but specifically, look at the quarterbacks they'll play. Keep in mind that last year they faced Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and Russell Wilson. This season they will still have to face Aaron Rodgers, but beyond that, the next best quarterback is the possibility of having to play Deshaun Watson, and we don't even know what he is anymore. I think their defense looks much better, and the wins come in. There are 4 teams clearly better than Washington right now in the NFC. Dallas, LA, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. They'll each likely win their division. Then in the same group as Washington, fighting for 3 wildcard spots, are the Eagles, Vikings, 49ers, and Cardinals. The 49ers and Cardinals have a gauntlet ahead of them in their own division, plus playing the AFC West. The Vikings play the AFC East, which is easier than the AFC West, but I'd argue more difficult than the AFC South, which Washington gets to face. The NFC is completely up for grabs. I'm predicting a regular season record of 10-7 and securing a wildcard spot. Once they're in the playoffs, all bets are off. I think they have the toughness and consistency to win a game depending on their opponent. So yeah, I am a Commanders fan, but I think I'm a realistic one. They're in the best situation they've been in since Ron Rivera's arrived in Washington. They have a weak schedule, and I think that they're ready to make the next step forward. From 7 wins the last 2 years, I think they can jump up to 10 in a 17-game season and surprise some people getting into the playoffs. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you watching, and if you made it this far, I really hope you'll consider subscribing and maybe even like the video. It would help a lot. I'll see y'all next time.